Check out FlipsideGaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on all orders over $10. Pre-orders are now available for War of the Spark and Modern Horizons booster boxes. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends, and welcome to another edition of the Magic the Gathering Market Watch, where we're going to look at all things that are going on in the secondary market. This is the Mythic Invitational Weekend. I hope you had a chance to watch a little bit of the events, but without any further ado, let's get into it. We're going to begin, as we always do, with the top 5 standard legal cards that have lost value this week. Coming in at number 5 is History of Benalia, down $1 to $8.54. This is a good card, continues to be strong in decks like Azorius Aggro, Selesnya Tokens, but there are going to be 2 copies of it in the United Assault Challenger deck, which comes out April 12th. With those extra copies about to enter the marketplace, this softens up a bit. Number 4, Vivian Reed, goes down $1.08 to $22.72. This has been a strong card as well in those Sultai mid-range decks, usually a 3 of, sometimes even a 4 of in those builds, and it shows up in other places too. But it does slow down a little bit this week as we're approaching the end of the standard season. Expensive cards are going to get a little bit soft now as we're going to move into a new season very soon. Number 3 is Hydroid Crisis, another example of this, going down $2.13 to $26.77. This card felt like it was all over the place early on this season. Since then, it has narrowed down a little bit, but it's still a very highly played card. You're going to find this in Sultai midrange. Temur Reclamation will play these, sometimes in the side or sometimes in the main, depending on the type of build they're going for. And also, you're going to find this in a few modern decks now. Temur Tooth and Nail, you'll find sometimes 3 in the main there. Even the old mono green midrange decks are now starting to splash a little blue to play sometimes around 3 of these in the main. Number 2 is Carnage Tyrant. It continues its descent down $2.72 this week to $17.11. And this does see play in some of the Sultai midrange builds, not all the time, but many times you'll find either 1 copy in the main and or 1 copy in the sideboard, occasionally 2 in the main. So it is still kicking around. You'll also find this in some modern sideboards, many times a 1 of in decks like Titan Shift. Number 1 is Arclight Phoenix, down $2.96 to $25.41 as this card becomes at least a little more affordable. Again, part of this is due to the fact that we're coming to the end of this standard season and people are a little shy when it comes to buying cards that are over $20 right now. However, remember how good this card has been. Is it Phoenix decks in standard are still very strong. Modern, this card is a force right now, and is it Phoenix as well as Mono Red Phoenix and others? Legacy, there's even Phoenix builds that are performing pretty well. There is going to be 1 copy of this in the upcoming Arcane Tempo Challenger deck that comes out April 12th as well. Because of that, this does soften up a little more than you'd expect. Okay, we're going to move on to the top 10. Yep, we're going to do 10 this time, standard legal cards that have gained value this week. The main reason for that is some of the cards on here are actually not from standard sets, but they are standard legal. I wanted to make sure you still got a good picture of what was going on in those standard sets, though. Number 10 is Sorceress Spyglass, up 24 cents to $2.39. Now, partially this is going up because of War of the Spark speculation. This could be good against a potential strong Planeswalker that could come out of that set, or maybe we'll even get a couple really strong ones from that set. However, this is also a really solid Modern, Legacy, and Vintage sideboard card. Number 9 is Zakama Primal Calamity, up 24 cents as well to $9.42, and this one is more of a commander card than anything, but it's a really awesome commander card. This plays well with Nikki of the Old Ways, and you're also going to find this as a key card in a lot of those Dino builds too. Number 8, Omniscience, up 25 cents to $6.32. Of course, this is the one for Magic 2019. And again, a card that's not moving because of Standard, but another format, in this case Legacy. This is a key part of Sneak and Show decks. Number 7, Vraska Golgari Queen, goes up 29 cents to $5.28. And this hasn't done a whole lot recently in Standard, but I have seen some Modern and Legacy players experiment with this card a little bit here or there, sometimes out of sideboards. For example, on Magic Online, I did see an Elf deck running one of these out of the sideboard, so there are some players trying different things with this card, so it does have a little extra attention on it right now. Also, it's a very good commander card. You can play this with Muldrotha, for example. It's pretty decent in those builds. Number 6, Overgrown Tomb. This is the original one, though, from Ravnica, up 33 cents to $15.38. Really key card right now. The Shocklands are all hot. Even the original ones. Keep an eye on some of the older versions because they are heating up. You're going to see more of those on the list today. This one is found in the Sultai midrange deck and Standard, of course, but it's in a lot of modern builds. Some popular ones like Golgari Midrange, Jund, Shadow Zoo, and more. Number 5, Hallowed Fountain. Again, an original Shockland. This one from Dissension, up 42 cents to $20.40. Another big card right now in Standard as you find this in Esper Control as well as Azorius Aggro. In Modern Control builds, Spirit builds will run this, and you'll find it in other decks too. Number 4, Temple Garden, another one of the original ones here from Ravnica, up 43 cents to $14.73. Key card in Selesnya Tokens builds currently in Standard. Modern, you'll find this in Banned Spirits and others. Number 3, Crucible of Worlds from Magic 2019 goes up 60 cents to $14.89. Another card that's not moving really because of Standard, but because of other formats. You'll find this in some Modern Tron decks as a one of in the sideboard. Also, 4-color Prison decks many times will run one of these in the main. You'll find this in other Modern and Legacy builds too. Number 2, we go back to Dissension for Breeding Pool, up 75 cents to $21.95. Sultai Midrange will run this, as well as Temur Reclamation. Over in Modern, you'll find this in Banned Spirits and many other Modern builds. Number 1, the big Standard legal card this week is Kaya Orzhov Usurper, up 99 cents to $9.98. Okay, if you watched the Mythic Invitational this weekend, a lot of people brought Esper Control to that tournament, and this card has gotten a lot of camera time. That alone could get more attention on the card and could result in a little bit of a spike, but aside from that, this card is the real deal even outside of Standard. I've seen this now in Modern Eldrazi Taxes, Mardu Pyromancer, Abzan Midrange, Lantern Control, and more. It feels like this could be a big Modern player in the future. Speaking of Modern, let's go on to the top 5 Modern legal cards that have lost value this week. Number 5, Horizon Canopy from Future Sight, down 206 to $77.85. This has always been an expensive card. The Future Sight copy, of course, is harder to find in good condition over the Iconic Masters copy. It also has the unique card frame, the unique art. A lot of players just gravitate towards this card, and it's in a lot of big decks. Humans, Hardened Scales Affinity, Banned Spirits, Hexproof. Let's move over to Legacy. You'll find it in lands there, and other Modern and Legacy builds as well. So why is it so soft right now? Well, part of the reason is because at some point you have to make a decision whether you want the aesthetics of this original Horizon Canopy, or do you want to just pay a little bit less for the Iconic Masters copy? So that will pull a little bit of the heat off this card sometimes. Also, some of the hot decks right now in the format that people are scrambling to build currently don't include this card. Things like Dredge and Is It Phoenix. So it's in a lot of important decks. Like I mentioned, any of those decks could win a tournament any given week and things could change. But at least for right now, this card is a little bit softer as attention is turned elsewhere. Maybe you can find a deal on it. Number 4 is Surgical Extraction from New Phyrexia, down $2.98 to $59.99. Don't get it twisted. This card is not seeing less play or anything like that. It's just normalizing, trying to find its price point now. It has been spiking aggressively recently, as you know if you've been watching the market watches. This is a key card in a lot of sideboards and Modern, Legacy as well as Vintage at this point. Good against Phoenix strategies, good against Dredge strategies. Number 3, Gemstone Caverns goes down $3.05 to $40.50. Another card that's having a normalization week after some recent spikes. This can be found in Modern and Legacy Eldrazi builds and other places, but one of the reasons this had extra attention on it recently is because if the London Mulligan actually does become adopted as the Mulligan of the future, then this card does get a little bit better. Number 2 is Nether Trader, one of the big movers last week, goes down $5.31 to $23.23 as we see yet another card that is normalizing. And this got hot for a couple of reasons. One, we saw Cabal Therapist that was previewed for Modern Horizons not too long ago. This card could interact very favorably with that card. Also, in the world of Commander, Teysa Karlov decks have been very popular, and this is part of a combo with Teysa Orzhov Scion as well as Phyrexian Altar to get unlimited mana. You have some cross interest in this card, and it got extremely hot. Number 1 is Scalding Tarn from Zendikar, goes down $5.73 to $103. Another card that has been spiking pretty aggressively recently. Overall, all the fetch lands have been pretty hot, and you're going to see a few on our list going up in just a few moments. Now, this particular one is normalizing down this week, but you can find it in big decks like Is It Phoenix, Grixis Death Shadow, and many other Modern, Legacy, and Vintage builds. Okay, let's move on to top 10. Yep, we're doing 10 again. Modern legal cards that have gained value this week. It's not quite as crazy as last time, though, because this time we're going to cover every card that's moving by at least $3. Last week it was $5 because there were so many cards moving. So between this list and the Commander list, you'll get the complete picture of those Modern legal cards moving at least $3. Things are calming down a little bit at least, but it's still pretty crazy. Let's jump in, but I do have a couple honorable mentions first. First honorable mention, Bloodstained Mire. This is the one from Onslaught, though, going up $4.08 to $48.92. Like I said, these fetch lands are incredibly hot right now. You'll find this one in Dredge, Grixis Death Shadow, as well as other Modern and Legacy decks. The second honorable mention is Bottled Cloister, going up 488 this week to 699. And this card hasn't done a whole lot until recently, but I have seen some people playing this in the War of Invention prison decks. And there have been some successful copies of the deck running 2 in the main, so there's more attention on this card this week. Number 10 is Vesuva of 519 to 29.99. You'll find this in Amulet Titan and Legacy, Eldrazi Post decks, and others. Number 9 is Chalice of the Void. 2 copies here. Modern Masters going up 364 to 59.99. Masters 25 going up 514 to 61.70. That original one is creeping up a little bit too, just didn't quite make our cut this week of at least $3. This one's going to keep climbing. It's popular right now in Modern and Legacy Prison decks, Modern and Legacy Eldrazi decks, various sideboards in those formats. Even in Vintage, this gets a fair amount of play, even though it is restricted. Number 8, It That Betrays, goes up 538 to 13.99. Now, you know why this is going up if you watch the Command Zone podcast or Game Nights. This was part of that colorless commander deck that won Game Nights a few weeks back and also was featured in the Command Zone podcast a little over a week ago. A lot of people are trying to build that deck right now, so this card has been hot. Number 7, Wooded Foothills from Onslaught. It's not just about the enemy fetch lands. Even the ally fetch lands are heating up now, in particular those Onslaught ones. But even the Cons ones are going up a little bit currently. This goes up 538 to 38.23. You're going to find this in some big Modern decks right now. Dredge and Burn, to name just a couple. Also, this will be in some Legacy builds too. Number 6, Blightsteel Colossus. This is part of that colorless commander deck I just mentioned, going up $577 to $60 this week. This also sees a little bit of Modern and Vintage play. Number 5, Kalidas Trader of Get, goes up 580 to 1990. This card has been amazing for a while now in Modern. I'm a little surprised it took so long for people to catch on to it. I mentioned that last week too. Card continues to go up in value. You're going to find this in Golgari Midrange, which is a wildly popular deck right now in the Modern format, as well as others. This also might get better with War of the Spark if the set brings us some zombie interactions. And this is already a solid commander card too. Number 4 is Scalding Tarn. This time it's the Modern Masters 2017 one, going up $6.96 to $110.50. Number 3, Dark Confidant back again. Ravnica City of Guilds goes up $4.42 to $76.46. Modern Masters 2015 up $9.59 to $75. Remember about a month or two ago, I said, look at this Ravnica City of Guilds copy climbing. Watch out for the reprints of this card. And it's all about the gameplay here. This sees playing a lot of big decks, Golgari Midrange, Jund and Legacy, Golgari Depths, and many others. This card does have more room to grow, and watch out again for the reprints that are still valued a little bit less than these two. Number 2, Jace the Mind Sculptor, another card that has been really hot recently. Eternal Masters goes up $360 this week to $123.52. World Weight goes up $11.09 to $149. Masters 25 goes up $12.74 to $129.34. Watch out for that Eternal Masters copy. It will most likely climb this week and catch up with the other two a little bit. With that being said, you know why Jace is good. Awesome in control builds in Modern and Legacy. He's great in Miracles decks. He's good in a lot of Vintage and Commander decks too. But a lot of people are thinking that Modern Horizons may bring us a strong counterspell. Maybe it's a reprint of a counterspell that is not modern legal, like the original counterspell, for example. Or maybe it's something entirely new. The speculation has put more heat on this card. But remember, at the end of the day, it's still a very solid card to have in your collection. Number 1, Sliver Legion goes up $14.26 to $70. A lot of buzz around Slivers recently for a few different reasons. Some people think we're just going to see Slivers soon because we haven't seen them for a while, maybe even in Modern Horizons. Other people think we're going back to Lorwyn at some point because Mark Rosewater has teased that. If that's the case, there's that changeling mechanic which could help Slivers along too. And aside from that, they're just fun to play in Commander many times, if nothing else. Now, the catalyst for this spike, though, was the fact that Sliver Queen spiked earlier in the week as it started to dry up in the marketplace. This one just followed. All right, let's move on to our Vintage Spotlight. This is where we look at cards that are played in Legacy, Vintage, 93-94. We're also going to look at cards that are important to collectors here as well. First, we have Grim Monolith going up $384 to $109.95. This is on the reserve list, and it's a very good card in those Eldrazi post decks in Legacy. Gilded Drake goes up this week, and this is also on the reserve list. Goes up $5 to $59.97. You'll find this in Temur Delver builds. Gaia's Cradle going up $764 to $359.99. Another card that is on the reserve list, although this did get a Judge promo reprinting before they changed the rules about doing stuff like that. But this is a great Legacy card in a number of builds, including Elves. You'll find this in Vintage decks too. And this is a good commander card as well if you can afford to pick one up or if you're lucky enough to already own one. Mox Diamond, another really popular legacy card now. Sees a little vintage play too. This is going up 1041 to 223.54. Also on the reserve list, but it did get reprinted in From the Vault Relics and foil, again back before they changed that rule. You're going to find this in decks like Golgari Depths, Lands, and 4-color Loam, all very popular legacy builds currently. Force of Will, Alliances goes up 806 to 109.99. Eternal Masters goes up 1179 to 119.99. Now, aside from being just an amazing legacy and vintage card, this is one of the cards some people think might show up in Modern Horizons and actually could become modern legal. I don't know. I don't think it would kill the modern format. In fact, you could argue it would make the format better by slowing down some of the combo decks and making people be a little more thoughtful about their plays. But I don't know if they're going to take this step. It would be a very bold move if they did it. Now, I mentioned this last week, but also be careful with specs like this. Now, if you were to pay $100 for a copy of this card, I don't think that's a bad deal. The card's amazing. But just think about the fact that if people are buying these because they think they're going to get extra value if it becomes modern legal, first off, it might not become modern legal. Secondly, if it does, Modern Horizons is going to print more copies of the card, so that could also mellow out the price point a little bit very quickly. Just remember those things when it comes to these type of purchases. Now, if you want the card to play with in your legacy or vintage deck, by all means, if you can find a good price, go for it. Okay, unlimited cards have been hot. You're going to see a bunch of them on the list. Here is Two-Headed Giant of 4 Eyes, up 1208 to 99.20. And this is, of course, on the reserve list. Vesuvan Doppelganger from Unlimited, also on the reserve list, but it did get reprinted and revised, up 1397 to 99.95. Singing Tree, not an unlimited card. This is Arabian Nights, but it is on the reserve list, going up 1504 to 99.99. I remember about a year ago or so, I did a video about cards you want to pick up from those early sets, and this was one I kept telling people to buy when it was cheap. Now it's up to $100. That's pretty crazy. Royal Assassin, as we go back to Unlimited, goes up $18.66 to $9.25. Mishra's Factory from Antiquities. This is the summer variant. We saw the fall variant last week. This is going up $20 to $139.99. And finally, Bad Moon from Unlimited stays hot, going up another $30 in a set to $79.99. Commander Spotlight. All right, we have another huge Commander Spotlight. Again, I'm going to go really fast through this and just give you the highlights, just the main reason these cards are going up, although there could be multiple reasons for some of them. One card going down in value I wanted to point out, Demonic Tutor from Unlimited is going down 104 to 63.12. The one from Dual Deck Anthology, Divine vs. Demonic, is going down $1.16 to $40.16. Great vintage card, awesome tutor to have in Commander, and of course it was recently reprinted as a rare in Ultimate Masters. First card going up, Fate Stitcher, goes up $1 to $3.14. This is actually most likely moving more because of modern play. There is a Glittering Wish Jeskai Ascendancy deck that runs this. But it does see play in Commander, and even more so recently with Prime Speaker Vannifar, so I thought I'd throw it on here. Green Sun Zenith goes up $1.01 to $9.99. This sees a lot of legacy play, but this also is very popular in Commander. Ghost of Dirk from Legends, this one's on the reserve list. It goes up $1.04 to $22.89. Whenever these gold reserve list cards are going up, I like to point it out. This maybe isn't a very popular one, but it's still pretty affordable. Mana Vault from 5th edition goes up $1.04 to $26.49. This did get reprinted in Ultimate Masters as a Mythic Rare, but this copy is going up a little bit this week, mostly because of that colorless Commander deck I mentioned. Vile Smasher the Fierce goes up $1.05 to $12.84. This is a card you can only find in foil, and this is actually moving more so because of Legacy as opposed to Commander. It's a great Commander card. There's a Legacy deck called Grixis Commander Delver that runs this. Traverse the Outlands goes up $1.09 to $11.04. I'm a little surprised it took this long for this card to start to shoot up, as now it does go over $10. It's just a really good card in a number of different builds. If you want to power out some big creatures and just really make use of your mana, it can help you there. Or you could go with a Land Matters strategy with Landfall. This could be good in those builds too. Perforos God of the Forge goes up $1.11 to $21.99. Keep an eye on these gods going forward. At some point they'll get reprinted. I could see us maybe going back to Theros at some point in the future and then getting a guild kit style product around the gods. Could happen, but just who knows when, right? So I do think there's a lot of room for growth when it comes to a number of these gods. Bloom Tender goes up $1.15 to $43.46. Great commander card from Eventide. I haven't said it yet this video, so I'm going to go ahead and say it. Remember, cards from that time period of Magic had a lower print run compared to other modern era Magic cards. They do tend to get a little spiky. This picked up a little momentum with Nikki of the Old Ways coming out recently too. Mobilize goes up $1.22 to $3.72 this week from Portal. Another green card that's good in a lot of different strategies. This will play well with Prime Speaker Vannifar too. Leyline of Anticipation goes up $1.25 to $20.36. A card that you'll find in some of these very efficient blue decks in Commander. Sliver Hive Lord, I told you slivers were hot. This one's going up $1.26 to $31.99. Ragnar, another one of the more affordable Gold Legends cards on the reserve list. It goes up $1.44 to $34.52. Sword of Feast and Famine. This one is from the Modern Event deck though. Goes up $1.44 to $36.70. Always a solid card for Commander. This especially got hot when Najeela the Blade Blossom came out in Battle Bond. Planar Bridge up $1.49 to $9.58. I mean, it's just a great Commander card generally, but another card that plays into that colorless strategy. Gwendolyn de Corsai, another one of these cards from Legends that is on the reserve list, but this one's a little more expensive, going up $1.59 to $107.35 this week. Deathcoil Worm from Portal Second Age goes up $1.77 to $6.64. Green has got a lot of new cards recently that have really pushed some Commander strategies. That's why you see a lot of green cards on these lists. Staff of Domination. This goes up $1.83 to $37.99 from Fifth Dawn. This is a card that can do some degenerate things and get you into some loops, but you can also just simply play this with Prime Speaker Vannifar for value. Avacyn Angel of Hope from Avacyn Restored goes up $1.89 to $30. This is a very popular commander, great in Angel Tribal or other builds. Storm Cauldron, 3 versions, 6th edition going up $1.06 to $4.45. Alliances goes up $1.53 to $4. 7th edition up $1.92 to $4. This is a decent card sometimes in Commander. I mean, it works fine with things like Burgeoning. However, this feels like a buyout to me. We saw some of these start to go up last week. They continue to go up a little more this week. Wormcoil Engine, Commander Anthology Volume 2 goes up $1.57 to $23.77. Scars of Mirrodin goes up $2 to $27.09. I put this on the Commander list because it is a colorless card, and of course that Commander deck I've been talking about has driven the value of some of those cards. But remember, this card sees play in Modern, Legacy, and Vintage, and is a key part of Tron in Modern. Toxic Deluge from Commander 2013 goes up $2.04 to $26.51. Now this sees Legacy and Vintage play, but it's also a good Commander card, so I included it here. Sensei's Divining Top from Champions of Kamigawa goes up $2.17 to $26.99. This sees Vintage play, but it's also another card that could be good in those colorless Commander builds. Sylvan Tutor from Portal goes up $2.45 to $59.54. Tutors generally are always great pickups, and this one has yet to be reprinted. Ramos Dragon Engine. This one can only be found in foil. It goes up $2.56 to $13.90. Wildly popular among Commander players that like Dragon decks, or if you just want to play a 5-color deck. It has 5-color identity, even though it only costs 6 generic to cast. It's just a really fun card. Darksteel Forge, another great card for colorless Commander. Magic 2014 goes up $2.02 to $18.95. Darksteel goes up $2.66 to $21.18. Maze of Ith from the Dark goes up $2.84 to $27.20. This is actually a pretty solid Commander card that can work into any build. Rise of the Dark Realms goes up $2.91 to $23.06. Couple of reasons for this one getting hot recently. One is Teysa. Of course, Teysa Karlov has been wildly popular. Also, Judith the Scourge Diva. A lot of folks have been building around that card in Commander too. And it's safe to say at this point, it appears that Nicol Bolas is going to be bringing some zombies with him into War of the Spark. So maybe some new zombies could bring some new favorable interactions with this card. Little speculative. Put it all together though, and this card has gotten hot. Teferi's Protection. This card just keeps going up. Another $3.04 this week to $44.91. It fits into a lot of good builds. Doubling Season. 2 copies to talk about this week. Ravnica City of Guilds goes up $2.25 to $49.99. Modern Masters up $3.34 to $49.75. The Battle Bond reprinting of this card did slow it down a little bit, but that was only temporary, especially with War of the Spark coming, bringing us all these new Planeswalkers. This card is hot again. Tymna the Weaver. You can only find this one in foil. Goes up $3.35 to $23.48 this week. And this is another card that plays well in those Teysa Karlov builds. Riku of Two Reflections goes up $3.41 to $20. This is the one from Commander, and this is great with Prime Speaker Vannifar. Enlightened Tutor, yet another tutor on our list. Eternal Masters goes up $1.77 to $25.11. Mirage goes up $3.58 to $24.72. Sakashima the Imposter up 444 to 3665. This is good in a lot of builds. It's been popular ever since Yuriko the Tiger Shadow came out. Transmute Artifact from Antiquities. This one is on the reserve list. It goes up 692 to 167.47. Not a cheap card, but can be fun in commander builds. Hazan Tamar, another one of these Gold Legends cards on the reserve list, goes up 904 this week to 188.99. Concordant Crossroads from Legends goes up 914 to 129.14. This has been a hot commander card with all the strong green cards entering the format recently. You can get a cheaper copy of this, though, if you want to go for the Chronicles one, but that one has been going up recently, too. Mana Crypt, this is another card that just doesn't slow down. This is the one from Eternal Masters this week, going up 1289 to 205. Awesome commander card, awesome vintage card. And I mentioned this earlier, but yeah, Sliver Queen was the first of these slivers to get hot. This is on the reserve list, going up 2903 to 105. Okay, let's look at our Pauper Spotlight, a few cards to look at, and none of them start with an O and end in an E. Our first one is Icequake. You'll find this in Mono Black Land Destruction. It goes up 10 cents to $1.10. Ancestral Mask. This is the one from Mercadian Masks, and it goes up 20 cents to $1.31. You'll find this in Hexproof. And Carrion Feeder. You'll find these in the Golgari Aristocrats decks as well as Zombies. Dual decks, Phyrexia versus the Coalition goes up 23 cents to $1.30. Scourge goes up 38 cents to $1.52. Alright, with that being said, that is the Market Watch. So starting tomorrow is the first official day of previews for War of the Spark. So you know there's going to be a lot of impacts to cards as we move forward over the next few weeks. We'll track them for you. We'll be doing preview recap videos all week long on the channel, and we'll do another Market Watch next Saturday too. So until next time, hey, thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible through the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.